By rubbing that area, it can almost look like you've got a bit of an itch. Yes, we do need some tools just to get us through a situation until we can find the space and the right appropriate time to do the tapping more fully. And one of the areas that is very easy to utilise is on the left side of the body. It's more or less in line with the nipple, but it's above in the soft tissue. And if you just feel around a little bit, it might vary from person to person. You'll find an area that feels just a little bit sore. Can everybody feel that? Okay, so we spent a lot of time thinking about this. Well, people did who started this meridian tapping, and they came up with a very clever name, and it's called the sore spot. Now, this area is great because even though it's not directly on a meridian, it's very close to meridians. It's by rubbing it, you're still sending those electrical impulses into the energy flow of the body. So it's still operating in a similar way to the tapping, albeit not as fully. What's good about this is that just by rubbing that area, it can almost look like you've got a bit of an itch or something that's just irritating. So if you're out somewhere, if you're in a restaurant and somebody said something and it's triggered an emotion, sometimes we don't know why, we just have a feeling that comes over us. But it feels uncomfortable. Now I know this stuff, I don't want to miss any opportunity to release it. So why would I sit with that? I will just find my sore spot and give it a little bit of a rub. So that's something we can all do. It's very easy, and you'll know when you're on the right spot because it feels tender. The other thing that I do is it also works by just rubbing or stimulating the area that we refer to as the karate chop point. And sometimes, particularly if I'm sitting at a table and I'm possibly feeling a bit nervous about something, then I can just rub that point too on the side of my hand. And again, it looks like you've got something that's aching or just a little bit itchy, and that can make a difference too. And what you'll find is actually even with the sore spot, the more you rub it, sometimes you'll find that that soreness goes. You're actually dispersing something directly onto the skin. So that's something that we can do that just buys you that time, gives you that moment just to assess, allow some of those feelings to disperse and the nervous system to calm down. Because as we know, when we calm down, we have that clarity and we can learn and process things at a much deeper level. Do you feel that it will be useful to you? The sore spot on the side of the hand. Mm. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yes, Dawn. It's interesting because that spot is not on a meridian. It's close to a meridian, but it's not on a meridian. So we could be baffled by that, but we needn't be baffled by it at all. Because whether you tap or rub, you're rubbing against the bone. Mm. So you're still creating the electrical impulses. So of course it's still doing the same job. So that one I think has confused people for a while, that it's not on a meridian and yet it works, because we don't tap on that point, we rub it. So it's just like little circular movements. But if you do that, you'll notice that you are feeling the tissue against a bone. And think of the bone as a material, ceramic. And we have in electronics things called ceramic resonators. And they're very good at generating accurate and stable voltages, extremely accurate. So again, you set them to that voltage. So in our studio we have probably dozens and dozens and dozens of these resonators, and they're used in electronics to keep microprocessors very accurate. And without that, irrespective of how expensive the equipment is, it won't work, even if it costs thousands. It won't work if you don't have this resonator. So we're just utilizing again those electrical impulses that actually help us to make those changes.
Thank goodness we've got an engineer with us. The other thing before we move on is that for anybody watching, or anyone in the studio audience who have young children, we are going to talk about this a little bit later, but I've found lots of children that I've worked with, including my own daughter, finds that relief quite useful, that they can rub their points themselves at any time if they're feeling a little bit uncomfortable, and that's a wonderful thing to pass on to our children.